What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Tove, representing the WCIS. We can inspire someone. OPP only promote positivity. Shout out to Waterbed Head. Shout out to Uncle DV. Shout out to the whole WCIS community. That's all about unity. What up, everybody on IG? Hopefully, everybody's feeling good, feeling great. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Crazy Lunatic. What's going on, Crazy Lunatic? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for being here with me tonight. All right. Everybody's going to watch this on the replay. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and last but not least, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Help support a little channel like this one, the WCIS. Out here promoting a little bit of positivity on a Tuesday night. All right. Hopefully everybody's feeling wonderful tonight. How was your weekend? How you feeling? Hopefully you're feeling blessed, not stressed. All right. I had a great weekend. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their Mother's Day weekend. You know, spending time with your moms. For all of us whose mothers are still here, God bless each and every one of them. For those of you who have lost your mother, God bless you. May God continue to watch over you, and may your mothers continue to watch over you from heaven. All right. God bless to all the mothers here or gone. They're still appreciated and still loved and still remembered. All right. So hopefully everybody's feeling good, enjoy your weekend. Tonight we got a good show. I'm here on time tonight, just got in from work. Just got in from work. Feeling good. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. Crazy Lunatic, how you doing, man? How was your weekend, bro? Hopefully you feeling good. Also, let me know how the audio is sounding. We sounding good? We better be sounding good with this new microphone. What up, everybody on IG? Let me square that up. Let me make sure that the IG is good. All right, IG is squared up. How was your weekend, everybody? Tonight we got a good conversation, good topic to get into. Let me copy the link right now. All right. So tonight we're going to be talking about accountability. Crazy Lunatic, my weekend was good, bro. The weather was good. Got a chance to spend time with loved ones. Went out to dinner, went out to the movies, and had a great time. Had a great time. Can't complain, not even a little bit. Can't complain. All right. Tonight we're talking about accountability. All right, that's what we're talking about tonight. Seems like a lot of people, it's a hot topic. A lot of people have a hard time holding themselves accountable. And for those of us who work in a field where we are in charge, hold on, let me get this camera straight. All right. Work in a field where we're in charge, or we're managers or supervisors, we have to be able to hold other people accountable and also hold ourselves accountable. It's a very, very very easy to say. It's very easy on paper. Very easy on paper, but kind of difficult to for people to master or even become good at in real life. It's kind of difficult. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. We're going to talk about accountability. What up, Ashy? Larry's in the building. What's going on, bro? The fourth houseman. What up, Ashy? Larry, how you doing? How was your weekend, my brother? Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the stream. How was your weekend, Ashy Larry? You feeling good? Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time holding themselves accountable, and you cannot consider yourself to be a leader. It's very difficult to lead in any capacity if you cannot hold yourself accountable. So accountability is super important in life, at work, within relationships, within friendships, within, holding each other accountable. If someone holds you accountable, that means that they really care about you. They really want what's best for you. A lot of people look at it as, someone criticizing them, someone hating on them. And it's not that. It's not if someone takes time to pull you to the side and say, "Hey, my brother, hey, my sister, my friend, my lover, my husband, my wife, whoever it may be to you. Look, I think that what you're doing is wrong, and I want to speak to you about it face to face instead of talking about it or talking about you behind your back. Let's address it straight up. I consider that to be a better friend to me than someone who will allow me to just remain mediocre. Let me stay within the issues that I may be having and not be able to pull me to the side and tell me what's going on. Ashley, Larry, everything in New York is good, bro. The weather's getting nicer and nicer by the day. Everything is good. Everything was good. How was your weekend? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up, support the channel, support the positivity. All right. And yeah, it was a good weekend. The weather was really nice. It was nice today also. It's hard to to be in a bad mood when it's nice here in New York. When spring starts to break and the trees start to bloom and flowers and the leaves and everything, it's definitely a good feeling. So yeah, I'm in a great mood tonight. Just got in from work, and I said, let's get up on here, get the show started, get it over with, so I can get myself something to eat. you know, just walked in straight from work. All right. So, crazy lunatic Ashley Larry, let me ask you a question. All right. When was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable about something? Let's see what my man Ashley Larry had to say. Oh, hold on. I gotta bring the screen up a little. Okay, there we go. Now that's what I'm used to seeing. All right. Wish I was in Cali so I could be with my mother and siblings. They had a good time for Mother's Day. I feel you, my brother. I feel you. I'm sure you had. Yes. I definitely had a great time on Mother's Day. Absolutely, had a wonderful time. Um, and I'm sorry that you couldn't be with your mother on Mother's Day, Ashley Larry. But I'm sure that she still loves and appreciates you. I'm sure you spoke to her. So as adults, sometimes it happens. We have to we have our own lives and have our own responsibilities that we have to take care of, and sometimes it comes in between family, unfortunately. But I'm sure that she knows that you love her and that you wish you could be there. All right. So the question is, when was the last time you held yourself accountable? All right. When was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable? Have a really difficult conversation with yourself, or have a really difficult conversation with someone else where you had to hold them accountable, and what was the outcome? All right, that's the first question for tonight. If anybody want to jump onto the stream with me and get into the conversation, I'm going to put the link in the chat. Yeah, so like I was saying, I definitely would prefer someone to hold me accountable and say, Tovi, you was wrong. Tovi, this is what you could have done better. I didn't appreciate, how you went about doing this, how you went about handling this. I don't think that you're seeing things clearly. I think that you're seeing it from a very closed-minded point of view. And when I was younger, I used to get offended by stuff like that. I used to feel like attacked, you know. But as I've gotten older, I realize if someone is taking time to explain to me where they see an error in my ways, I would hope it's because they want to see me become better. They want to see me grow. They want to see me evolve, not because they just want to. I used to look at it as, and some people it was true. Some people just wanted to kind of like tear me down, and sometimes you can't wait to see someone that you consider to be righteous, you can't wait to see them fail. You want to see a little chink in their armor. Hold on, let me freeze the camera because I think it. Okay, we good. Sometimes you want to see that chink in their armor because it makes you feel like, okay, they're it makes you feel better about your flaws sometimes when you see someone that you hold in high regard. Okay, hold on. Let me turn my notifications on my phone not off, but down. All right, there we go. Sometimes you see someone that you hold in high regard, and you want to see. Sometimes people want to see you fail. That's true. Sometimes people are genuinely preying on your downfall. Let me see what my man Ashley Larry said. When I had health issues, life-changing event. When I had my health issues, life-changing event, still having that battle to this day. What did you have to change? What did you have to change? What is it that you felt like you had to hold yourself accountable for? Me personally, I felt like I had to hold myself accountable for the way I sometimes I'm stubborn to a fault. That's something I definitely had to hold myself accountable for. Definitely had to hold myself accountable for. What up, Laura Guitar? Welcome to the stream on IG. You know where I'm at. I'm over here on YouTube. Laura Guitar, how you doing tonight? Hopefully you feeling good. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for tuning in. All right, Laura Guitar, tuning in on the IG. Yeah, there are definitely people who prey on your downfall. Absolutely. And then there's people who want to actually see you do better, who want to see you actually become better. And a lot of times it's hard for people to see the difference. But people that truly care for you, it's like when they feel that you're doing something that's a little out of pocket, a little off center, it's nothing wrong with them pulling you to the side and respectfully telling you how they feel and maybe how you could correct the issue or correct those problems. And we have to learn how to get up out of our feelings and not take it personal. You know, people say that they want to become, you want to be the best version of yourself. Well, sometimes it takes other people to see your flaws to help you see how you can evolve and become better. Sometimes you're living in it and it's hard for you to see it. Sometimes you can't see it. So when someone is willing to hold you accountable and not let those things slide and not just be a yes man or a yes woman, you got to cherish those people. Those people are really, really, really important. Those people will help you in the long run because it shows that they genuinely have your best interest at heart. It's easy to avoid the conflict. It's easy to just say, you know what, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to keep it to myself. And most people prefer to take that approach. I used to be that person. I would prefer to take that approach. But now, and boy, it has got me in a lot of What up, Laura Guitar? Love you, baby. Not like I love my guitar. What up, Laura Guitar's in the building. All right, my man Ashley Larry said what he had to change was his eating habits, changing the ingredients in the food that I eat. I've read so many ingredients on the side of packages of anything prepared. Yeah, lad, that's definitely something that's something that we overlook. We're not taught the importance of eating correctly, and then when it starts to catch up with you later on in your life, you wish that you would have went back and read some of those words that you can't pronounce that's on the side of all the packages of the food that a lot of us eat. That processed food. It's definitely no good for us, and we all have fall victim to it. I know I have. Lord knows I have. So I'm happy that you was able to hold yourself accountable in the last 2 years. Absolutely, bro. I'm happy that you was able to see the error in your ways and hold yourself accountable and make a change, make a change for the better. You know, you want to be around, you want to have a healthy life. Let's see. I'm doing pretty good, Laura. How are you doing tonight? Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. All right. All right. When was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable? And that's what we're talking about tonight. Let me go ahead and put it in the so people know what we're talking about when they jump in. We're talking about accountability. All right. The ability. A lot of people say the word accountability, but don't have the ability to hold themselves accountable. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Accountability. All right. One of the best abilities that you can have is being able to hold yourself accountable. If you're in charge of other people, you consider yourself a leader. You consider yourself someone who is a stand-up person. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. Nobody's going to respect you if you can't even hold yourself accountable. How can you hold other people accountable when they see the flaws and the cracks in your foundation and it's glaring? It's glaring. It's so easy for them to understand that you are not holding yourself accountable. So how dare you even look at me and try to even fix your mouth to tell me to correct something? A lot of people have that point of view, and I can understand it. It makes total sense. You have to be able to hold yourself accountable. It is such a good practice. And Lord knows it is not easy to do, but I've definitely been on that road of being able to say, Tovi, this is where you was wrong. Sometimes in the moment, in the emotions, it's hard to see it. And I understand that. But especially as a man, I have to step up out of those emotions sometimes. Very rarely do I get emotional. But in the moments when I do, I have to step up out of those emotions and be able to understand where I'm wrong, what I can do better, how I can handle it better, and implement it. Not just think about it, not just ponder it, but really implement it and be able to humble myself and listen. You know, my son, the one who makes it a point to bring my butt to accountability. Okay. My son is the one who makes it a point to bring my butt to accountability. What is it that he usually holds you accountable on? What was the last thing? And why do you think it's such a hard thing for people to, it seems like a lot of people have trouble holding themselves accountable. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people have such a hard time? I know I struggled with it for years. I wasn't able to really, especially in my relationships, it was really difficult. I had the mindset of if I didn't do anything wrong, if I didn't feel like I did anything wrong, then I didn't do anything wrong. And that was a terrible outlook to have. That was definitely not the right idea to have. Banga 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 bow 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 banga 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 banner. Banga banga banner banner bow. You big dummy! I'm about to slap you back to El Segundo. My man Lamont Sandridge is in the building. What up, Lamont? You big dummy! My man Lamont Sandridge is in the building. What's going on, bro? How you doing? Hopefully you had a wonderful Mother's Day. You spent it with your mother, your wife, your lady, the kids, whoever it is that you spent it with. God bless each and every one of y'all. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend with your family, my brother. Welcome to the stream. All right. We talking about tonight. We talking about accountability. All right. We talking about accountability. Why does it seem like people have a hard time holding themselves accountable? At what point did you feel and understand that being able to hold yourself accountable or having people around you to hold you accountable was really beneficial? All right. When did you realize having a friend, having a partner, having someone in your family, anyone who really holds you accountable, it really shows that they love you. It really shows that they have your best interest at heart. So when was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable? Having a difficult conversation with yourself. When was the last time you had to hold someone else accountable? And what do you feel the importance of accountability really is? I think for you to be able to have a clear focus on what it is that you need to improve on, if you want to become better every day at whatever it is that you're doing, you have to hold yourself accountable. A lot of people would prefer to just walk away and start fresh with someone that doesn't know your flaws, with someone who doesn't um who's not really willing or cares enough to hold your feet to the fire and say, look, you can be better than this. I want to see you become better than this. It can lead to a lot of conflict. It can lead to a lot of arguments. It can lead to a lot of, with the wrong person. It could lead to some lonely nights. It can it could lead to laying in the bed, with your backs to one another, not even talking to each other that night. It can become difficult. And I understand it because I've been there. I went through it. But I would never be that way again. Never. Never ever would I conduct myself that way again. And it took a long time for me to get to that point. People have a tremendously hard time looking at themselves in the mirror and trying to realize and figure out where they can become better in those moments when they feel like they're being attacked, or when someone feels like what someone is saying to them, oh, you're just hating on me, or you're just, you're just complaining. Fellas, when a woman is, now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes when a woman is just like, some women complain to just complain. And then some women, because of their own difficulty when it comes to communication, they're trying to hold you accountable. They're trying to send you a message. And sometimes we actually take that message and look at it as complaining. But what in actuality, what they're trying to do is trying to get you to, they're trying to correct the behavior. And sometimes it doesn't come across that way. And that's where the communication comes in. We have to all become better communicators. But when a woman no longer complains, when she no longer is quote unquote nagging you or complaining or talking to you about the things that she wants you to become better at, if you truly love that woman, that's when you need to start worrying. Because once she stops complaining, once she's no longer concerned with you becoming better, most likely she's starting to phase herself out of the situation. My man Lamont said self-accountability is a quick way to humble yourself. Yes. So what's something that you realized that you had to change and you held yourself accountable and you was actually able to change it? For me, I felt like my stubbornness in relationships is something that I had to hold myself accountable for. Not completely, because sometimes, being stubborn it has definitely helped me in some ways too. But I used to be a little bit too stubborn. It was like, look, I know what I'm talking about. I see it this way and I'm not seeing it no other way. And that is dangerous. It's dangerous, and I hate to use the catchphrase in the hot topic word, but it's actually toxic. It's actually toxic. That was toxic. I'm not gonna lie. And I definitely had to check myself and hold myself accountable and be able to say, you know what, Tovi, you need to open your mind, sometimes even open your heart and try to see it from a different point of view. And it's also given me a definite, it's given me a line in the sand where if I see someone who can't hold themselves accountable and they don't want to see the flaws or the errors or how they did you wrong, or how they could become better, then I definitely I don't associate or incorporate those people into my life. All right, let's see what my man Lamont said. Finding out my flaws by talking to a therapist. I was able to find where I needed to improve. So where have you improved, Lamont? What's your greatest improvement? And what was your fatal flaw? And how did you improve on it? And turn your fatal flaw into actually something that now you could look back on and say, I was able to change that behavior. Stubbornness was definitely a fatal flaw of mine. I don't want to say it's fatal because it's actually helped me. But in some situations, it was definitely killing my friendship, killing my relationships, and it was fatal to a certain extent. Not fatal completely, because sometimes my stubbornness has saved me. I've been so stubborn about a lot of things when it comes to, children, or when it comes to intimacy, or when it comes to certain standards and certain things I hold dear to me that I will not change for anyone. Those things, my stubbornness has saved me. But in other ways, yeah, I had to learn to just let certain things go. And I wasn't willing to let a lot of things go. I would sit there and argue and go back and forth all night long. People in the street, all night long. I'll be out here all night long trying to. And I realized I had to stop doing that. I had to realize that I couldn't keep being that way. It was pushing people away from me. Now, when it's time to stand up for what I believe in, yeah, I'm not backing down. But sometimes I had to realize some things are not worth it. And that's definitely something I held myself accountable for. And I've definitely improved it. And it's made me a much more pleasant person. I've had people that know me very well realize that, Tovi, I see that I don't engage in certain things anymore. I don't engage in certain conversations. I don't engage in certain arguments. And I realized the benefit of it. It has allowed people to really get to know me better. And it's also allowed people to follow my lead. That energy that you bring is very important. The energy that you bring into a situation, the same way toxic energy can come into a situation and bring everybody down, positive energy can bring everybody up. And that's what I try to do. All right. That's what I always want to do now. I don't feed into that negativity. If before I feed into it, I'll distance myself from it. Where before I would jump into it and I would try to. It was kind of like fighting in quicksand. It's like I'm in it and I'm trying to fight my way out of it instead of standing on solid ground and maybe throwing something to someone to pull them out of it. We both in the quicksand. We both not getting nowhere. One of us, and I've chosen for that person to be me now. One of us has to get up out of the quicksand and be able to stand on solid ground and say, look, let's try to get to a resolution. Let's try to get to a solution. Let's try to figure out what the real problem is. Instead of sitting here going back and forth, arguing and sinking deeper and deeper into this quicksand. We need to be more solution based. Where before I was more proving my point based. Oh, you gonna hear my point of view and you gonna agree with me. Now I realize it's not about people agreeing with me, and it's not about it's not about someone just strictly hearing my point of view. It's about us understanding each other's points of views. And that's definitely something that I had to hold myself accountable on, was being a little bit too close-minded, and it's helped me a lot. It's helped me in a lot of my relationships and with my friendships, and I've learned to just let things go. If someone if I don't see eye to eye with someone, I'm much easier now for me to say, you know what, let's just agree to disagree. But if I stand there or if I sit there and I argue and I go back and forth with you, that means that I really love you or I really care about you. Because if I didn't love or care about you, trust me, I would not be going back and forth with you. I would just say, you know what? Let's agree to disagree. And even that has gotten me in trouble when I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's just agree to disagree. And I have had people like, no, we're going to keep arguing. We're going to we're going to stay on this topic until, and it's like, damn, you can't win for losing. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because that can come across as if you don't care. When you're just like, hey, let's just agree to disagree and leave it alone. Some people like that chaos. Some people like to go back and forth. And I know it because I used to be that person. I wanted that conflict. I wanted that debate. And there's nothing wrong with healthy debates. There's nothing wrong with healthy debate. But a lot of times, once you infuse emotion into those debates, they no longer remain healthy. Because now it starts to get personal. And you got to realize sometimes when you're speaking to someone, it's hard for them to see the wrong. It's hard for them to understand other people's points of views because they're looking at it from in a personal lens. They're looking at it, the topic that you may be talking about is so personal that it's hard for them to be able to subtract themselves and look from the outside of it and see the rationale behind it and see the logic behind it, because a lot of people are just dead set on, no, I disagree because this is how I feel and I'm not seeing it no other way. And I can't be mad at them because I was once that person. But now, if I disagree with you, I just let it go. You know what? Let's just leave it be. We can agree to disagree and keep it moving. And that's how I do it now. Now, if I really like, if it's somebody I really care about, I'll go back and forth. I won't let it go so easily. I won't let it go so easily. So, everybody watching, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know when was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable or hold someone else accountable, and how did it go? You know, was it successful? And why do you feel it's so difficult for people to hold themselves accountable? That's the real question we really need to get into. Why do you feel like it's difficult for people to hold themselves accountable? Is it that they just want to be right? They don't want to become better? They don't want someone to prove them wrong? You know, they BX the Great One with your Rudy Pool candy eyes. What up, BX the Great One? Welcome to the stream, my brother. Hopefully everything is good with you. Welcome to the stream, all right? Why is it so difficult for people to hold themselves accountable? All right, that's the question. Have you had issues holding yourself accountable? You know? And I bring this up because of, one of the conversations that we had last week, and I feel like everyone needs to be held accountable equally. No one deserves a pass. No one deserves a pass. We gotta hold everyone accountable. That way we can figure out what the real problem is and we can get to it and become better, you know? When was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable? When was the last time you had to hold someone else accountable? And why do you feel like it's so difficult for people to hold themselves accountable? Has that always come naturally for you, BX? Is it something that you had to eventually mature into? Because I know it was definitely something I had to mature into. But yeah, those are the three questions that we talking about tonight. Yeah, me personally, and also, how's the audio? The audio sounds good. I want to make sure that the audio sounds good. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Bad girl, come out and play. What up, bad girl? Snipers in the building. The first lady of the WCIS. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. All right. All right. Everybody want to jump in? Anybody want to jump into the conversation? We're talking about accountability tonight. Why is it difficult for people to hold themselves accountable? How sometimes it's difficult to hold other people accountable. Maybe you don't want the conflict, maybe you don't want that you don't want to jeopardize the relationship. Okay, I said above because we want to do what we want to do. People want control of their lives. The majority of people have bosses and spouses, and there is compromise with our everyday dealings. Okay. So you're saying that people don't want to hold themselves accountable because they just want to do whatever they want to do. And if you hold yourself accountable, then there's going to be rules and structure and a structure to what you do. You're absolutely right. All right, we about to bring in my main man in the queue. All right, we about to bring him into the stream. Let me bring up what my man Lamont said though. I'm typically a people pleaser. It's bad because I often put others' needs above my own. And I didn't feel like those people were appreciative. Had to take care of myself first. Absolutely, my brother. Absolutely. Sometimes we want acceptance. Sometimes we want people to like us or love us. So we go above and beyond. And it's nothing wrong with being kind and giving and loving to the people who deserve it. But takers love givers, my brother. Takers love givers. They can see us a mile away. They see us a mile away. All right. So, yeah, you have to definitely take caution into who you pour into. Reciprocity is very important because you keep pouring into someone, eventually they're going to run you dry and they're going to be overflowing and you're going to be running dry. And then you think that they're going to take time to are they going to take time to come and pick you up now that they've ran you ragged and you down on the floor? Can you crawling? You can't get up. You need some water. You need are they going to be that person that you were for them now that you need it? You got to think about that at all times. All right, we about to bring in my main man. I love the intro. Y'all know it. Y'all might know him from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama. His mama named him Clay, and I'm going to call him Clay. My main man, Jay Clay, is in the building. Let's bring Jay Clay on in. What's going on? Hold on. What's going on here? Okay, let's add him to the stream. What up, Jay Clay?
What up, people?
What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
Oh man, blessed, highly favored. How are you?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. All right, let me just center my camera. All right.
What up, Ashy?
All right, there we go. All right, Jay Clay, how was your weekend, bro? How you feeling, man? Welcome to the stream.
Man,
bro.
good. The football game got canceled. We had bad weather down here, so they canceled the game. So I just rested, man. Rested, relaxed. Me and the missus caught a movie. We watched that Scream 6. Yeah, Scream 6. Watched that. We gamed a little bit together, played some WWE. That my GM mode. Got to do that. Hung out with the dogs. It was beautiful, man. Got to rest a little bit,
All right, wonderful. I'm happy to hear that, my brother. All right, so
and celebrated Mother's Day too.
Absolutely. Shout out to all the mothers out there. Hopefully y'all had a wonderful weekend. All right, so Jay Clay, this is what we're talking about, my brother. We're talking about accountability.
Okay.
All right, we're talking about accountability. When was the last time you had to hold someone accountable, hold yourself accountable? And why do you feel like people have such a hard time with accountability? All right. It seems to me. All right, hold on. Let's bring up BX the Great One. Let's see what he had to say. Yes, I had a hard time holding myself accountable. It's something I'm still working on as I'm getting older and being around you more. All right, thank you so much, BX the Great One. Absolutely, my brother. I'm happy that I could help in any kind of way. Trust me, I wasn't always able to hold myself accountable either. So trust me, it's definitely a work in progress. Jersey Devil's in the building. What up, Jersey Devil?
Him like a Hershey, got a bomb from his jersey.
What's going on, Jersey? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. All right. Hopefully you're feeling great tonight. All right. Hopefully you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. All right. So yeah, Jay Clay. Let's start off with, why do you feel like people have a hard time holding themselves accountable? Let's start there.
Honestly, I think it's because it's easy. It's easy. I feel like for some people, it's easier to do the blame game. It's easier to put the blame on everybody else. Or sometimes you just don't realize it's your fault until it's too late.
Right. Absolutely.
But I do say it's a mixture of, it's easier to blame defect, or it's easier to point the finger at somebody else, not realizing that you're pointing back at you.
Right. when was the last time you felt like, okay, at what point did you realize holding yourself accountable was truly a positive instead of the negative that most people look at it as? Someone says, "Hey,
Um,
there's a lot of things you could do. Like, hey, you could be a better parent." Most people would be taken aback with someone telling them that. Who
yeah.
are you to tell me I'm a good mother? That you know, But
Hmm.
hey, there are some things that you could do a little bit better. I see sometimes you're a little short tempered with your child. The father, hey, dad, sometimes you speak to little Katie a little bit too aggressively. She's a young girl. You gotta kind of, you
Yeah.
can't talk to her the same way you talk to Jonathan. There's nothing wrong with being able to check someone and kind of give them a little, just fix their crown a little bit as long as you fix it privately. Now, sometimes people don't take criticism so well publicly, but if
Yeah.
you do it in the right way and you do it privately, some people still take offense to it, you
And that
know?
could be another reason why a lot of people don't hold themselves accountable is because it wasn't brought to them the right way, like you said. You know,
Right.
I did. I. It took me to answer your question. It took me, man. It took me years.
Me
It took
too.
me.
Me
It
too,
took
my
me
brother.
years to hold myself accountable, but I realized that I had no problem. Like, look, I have no problem holding myself accountable now. It's super easy to do it now, but it's
Right.
like you said, the way you come at me with it. Like if you come
Right.
at me aggressive, I'm not gonna take it lightly. But if you
Right.
come at me, hey, Jay, I don't appreciate. I think you was wrong for how you talked to old girl. Maybe if
Right.
you went about it this way, and I can be like, oh, okay, you know what? I didn't think about it like that. That's on me.
Right.
I'm gonna go back and fix that. But yeah, I can definitely say I. It took me years. I'm way better than what I was 4 years ago.
That's great. That's
You
great.
know,
That being able to self-reflect and grow and become better is
mhm.
super important. It's super, super important. And if you can't hold yourself accountable, you can't be a leader.
Yeah, and I
You can't.
definitely think holding yourself accountable. You definitely got to be open minded. I feel like that's the biggest thing to accountability is open mindedness and um, not being so defensive all the time.
Right. And I think that a lot of people. What up, Von Dove? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Just let you know, it's been a long time since I've heard from you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm streaming live on YouTube right now. If you want to come join the conversation, we're talking about accountability. All right, accountability in friendships, relationships, at work. We're just talking about accountability in general. Hopefully, you had a wonderful Mother's Day. God bless you. And yeah, come to YouTube, type in WCIS1 and come join the community. All right. Just make sure you change your government. Don't have your government up here on the YouTube. What up, my main man Valente is in the building. What's going on? What's going on, Valente? All right, let's see what Ashley Larry had to say. Ashley Larry said exactly. It's how you come at someone. If you approach someone with the accountability issue and you think your ish don't stink, then you most likely look like a fool to that person. Absolutely, Ashley Larry.
Hmm.
Let's see what my man Valente had to say. I'm big on accountability. I keep it 92 plus 8 always. I say what I mean and I mean what I say. All right, my main man Valente. What's going on, my brother? How you doing? All right, everybody make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and support the channel. It definitely helps the stream when it goes up onto YouTube after the live stream is over. So my man Jay Clay said he's much better off now than he was even 4 years ago, which shows you that there is no time limit to being able to improve yourself and become better. We can learn and become better at any time and at all times. And we should be striving to become better in any situation. If someone really takes time out to pull you to the side and fix your crown, that shows that they really care about you and they want what's best for you.
Absolutely.
Someone that will let you stay in that mediocrity, stay in that wrong energy and co-sign with you. They don't really want what's best for you. That you may have to really consider if that person is a true friend or not. Because
Absolutely.
sometimes, what up? I told you to go change your government, girl. What up? Vonda Johnson is in the building. I tried to warn you, girl. What's going on? We're gonna call you VJ. What's going on, VJ? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. All right, let's see what she had to say. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Um Agreed. Growth is a never ending job. Absolutely. Growth is a never ending job. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will come into your life, right? They'll come in. Shh, don't share my go. I didn't you shared your go, and I gave you a forewarning too. Well, welcome, VJ. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know me as Tovey, but tonight on the show, I am your boy, Little Fat Mushy Tove, the host of the WCIS. WCIS stands for We Can Inspire Someone, and welcome to the community, all right? The community that's all about unity, all right? Unity, all right? So, Vonda, my question to you, all right, since you just joining in now, when was the last time you had to hold yourself accountable? When was the last time you had to hold someone else accountable? And why do you feel it's so difficult for people? Why do you feel it's so difficult when it comes to people dealing with accountability? People become very defensive when you try to correct them. And what I was about to say was sometimes people will stay around you as friends because their misery needs that company. And when they see you starting to do better, their misery starts to get lonely. They don't want you to become better. They don't want you to handle situations better. They want you to stay on the same level with them, so that way their misery and your misery will be able to walk hand in hand and get along and create a wonderful friendship. You have to be careful of people like that. You have to be careful of people like that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. VJ said accountability requires a real look in the mirror. Absolutely. So what
Yeah.
was the last thing you had to hold yourself accountable on, Vonda? What was the last thing you had to hold yourself accountable on and you were able to be- hold yourself accountable and become better? All right. All right. So while you answer that question, I'm gonna pose this question to my man Jay Clay. All right.
I'll
So
ask your
when
boy.
was the last time? When was the last time you had to hold someone else accountable?
Oh man.
And did they take
Um.
it well? Before I even asked, did they take it well? Do you feel like you presented it well?
My sister. It was my sister.
Okay.
My older
And that's
sister.
tough with family.
Oh yeah, my older
It's tough.
sister.
I could only imagine. I
Yeah.
could only imagine.
Yeah. I would say my older sister. I won't get into too much detail about what it was exactly, but
Okay.
short version. Uh, Me and her, we have this tendency of checking each other a lot.
Okay.
We check each other a lot, but um, I didn't like the way she was coming at me, and um, so okay. One of my pet peeves are when you call me and you're going off on me, and then you hang up on me, not letting me say what I gotta say.
Okay.
That's my pet peeve. So don't call me and I say something you don't like if I'm not, especially if I'm not being rude. But I feel like if I'm not being rude about it, you don't have a right to get. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say you don't have a right. I feel like you shouldn't be angry,
Right.
and I feel like she had called me, and it was a miscommunication on my part, which I totally accept my part in that. But the situation wasn't that big for her to blow up, go off on me, and then hang up on me.
Okay. Right.
So where I hold myself accountable is I let my anger get the best of me, so I pulled up on her,
Okay.
and I was like, don't effing talk to me like that. You don't effing call me and then hang up on me. Like, what the f is your problem? You mother effer. Like you like just going off.
Mm-hmm.
And so I held her accountable because you hanging up. I don't like being hung up on. That's the boundary I don't like to be crossed.
Right.
You, as my sibling, know how I am and how I feel about that. Now, that's where I hold her accountable because if you felt some type of way, you could always tell me. One thing about me is if somebody comes and tells me, hey, you hurt me, or hey, this is what you did that upset me. Okay, I'm gonna apologize because if I know I didn't mean to do it that way, I'm gonna hold myself accountable and apologize. That's that.
Right.
That it's not a problem for me to apologize. So where I hold myself accountable was I allow myself to get out of character,
Right.
and
Exactly. The way
so
you
that's
went
where
about
I hold.
approaching it.
Yeah, so I let my anger get the best of me because she let her anger get the best of her first.
Right.
So I
Okay.
just yeah.
I feel you. I feel you. And yeah, as especially as men, we definitely, especially as men, when we're dealing with conflict, we have to be able to keep our emotions under control,
Hmm.
because a man that's emotionally out of control can do a lot of damage
Yeah.
to the people around him, to himself, and to the relationships with the people that he loves or who loves him. All right. Now I want to get to what Vonda said, because I first of all I appreciate you sharing something so candid. She said, "I'm having a tough time being accountable for how out of control my drinking has become."
Well,
Now, first, this is a very sensitive topic. For the fact that you even was able to be transparent enough to bring it up, I applaud it, because
absolutely.
most people keep something like this secretive, especially not to come on a platform where other people are going to see it. People that you don't know anyone here, but still, I applaud you, because being able to say it out loud like that is the first step to trying to be able to fix the problem and get it under control.
Hmm.
So, first of all, I applaud you for that. That's number one. Number two, how out of control are you getting when you're drinking? Like, are you drinking for leisure to have fun, and then you lose track of how much you're drinking? Or are you drinking to get drunk? Do you start off like, look, I'm about to get wasted? I'm asking that question because I think the way to fix the problem is really important of how you're getting to that place of being, out of control with the drinking. Um, Jersey Devil said Jerry Springer held himself accountable from the afterlife. You're gonna have to explain to the people what happened, Jersey. She said, I think it's easy to justify intentions instead of recognizing how our intentions miss the mark.
Hmm.
Miss the mark. Um, I'm not only huh, I'm not the only alcoholic on this call, but thank you. I'm not the only alcoholic on this call, but thank you. You know somebody else on here that's out. You know somebody else in here? I drink to satisfy an urge. Okay.
I'm definitely an alcoholic.
Vonda, regardless of whoever else drinks, we trying to address the issue that you brought up. This is your issue. We're not addressing else's issue. She said his hand is up. Right. But the the question that I'm asking is, I'm not saying it's nothing wrong with any. You're an adult. You drink. That's your prerogative. But what I'm saying is, if your drinking is out of control, then that's when it becomes an issue. That's when it can become. I just meant there's no shame. Yeah, there shouldn't be any shame.
Absolutely not. We
There
don't
shouldn't
shame
be any.
people here.
You can't fix if you are you. I don't know if you want to fix the problem, although you said it's something that you need. You felt like you need to hold yourself accountable on. So I don't know if you feel like you want to fix it or not. But if you want to hold yourself accountable, I would assume that it's something that you want to get under control. That's what I would assume. If I'm wrong, let me know. If you fine with it, then we ain't even got to talk about it. You can continue to try to hold yourself accountable, and I'll leave it alone. What does out of control mean to me? Out of control means to me when you are no longer in control of what you're saying, what you're doing, and how you're affecting other people around you. When you are no longer worried about what's going on around you, you're like in your own moment and you're completely oblivious to what you're saying, what you're doing, and how it's affecting everyone. To me, that's when I don't drink. I've never had a drink, so it's hard for me to really step into those shoes. But that's what I would do. Drinking while intoxicated is too far. That's definitely too far. And you said so blackout. Um, I mean, if somebody blacks out, to me, if you get so drunk to the point where you black out, I don't know how much damage you're causing to the people around you, but you're definitely causing damage to yourself.
Yeah.
And someone's gonna have to look after you. No one wants to leave, especially a woman. You don't want to leave a woman blacked out anywhere, under any circumstances. You know, good for you at never having a drink. Are you saying that supportively or sarcastically?
I definitely think that sarcastically.
I'm not,
Mm,
huh?
yeah, you might have struck a nerve with Vonda.
I'm not saying it. I wasn't saying it to. I'm just saying it's hard for me to completely understand the point of view because I don't drink and I've never had a drink. But if it's something that you feel like you need to hold yourself accountable on, the first step is I mean it supportively. Okay, wonderful. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. Ashley Larry said, if you drink to the blacking out phase around others, it is dangerous. I wish okay, wait a minute. I wish I didn't have a drink. I wish I didn't have a drink.
Do you mean it as you wish you never had a drink?
Yeah, do you
Or
wish like you never started drinking in the first place? Or do you feel like okay, this is the real question. I'm tiptoeing around it. But you brought it up. I got to be honest with it. Do you feel as if you're addicted? Like, do you consider yourself like, are you a alcoholic, or is it out of control, or are you able to control it? Because now let your co-host explain what is out of control. All right,
all right.
Jay Clay, what do you
Uh,
consider is out of control?
what do I consider out of control? Seeing as how I've been one to get out of control when I used to drink a lot. One, starting fights for no reason. Definitely drinking, getting behind the wheel, drinking, knowing that I'm way too intoxicated to be drinking. And what I mean by way too intoxicated, I can barely walk, let alone
Right.
be coherent or cohesive. Cohesive. That's my definition of out of control. I definitely now I so how I've changed that for me now is if I go out with friends now, I have like 2, 3 drinks and I'm good. Now if I'm at home, I'll drink as much as I want with the planning of not going out.
Okay.
Um, but as far as out of control, definitely for me, it was always getting ready to fight, putting people that I love in danger because I'm too drunk. Um, definitely wobbling all over the floor, can't walk straight, can barely stand up straight, uh, getting blacked out. I've been blacked out drunk before,
Okay.
so definitely blackout drunk for me.
Okay. Vonda, he just explained, what out of control is. So, um, I guess my question is, I mean, I wasn't expecting to take the show in this turn, but we talk about everything. So, do you feel like at what age did you form this drinking habit? How long has it had? How long have you been dealing with? How long have you been dealing with it?
She said, "Why not give up alcohol then? Why don't I
She
give
also
up
said
alcohol?"
she has it under control now, but I'll lose control eventually. Okay. We're gonna come back to that, but go ahead. You could answer the question, Jay Clay.
Oh, was she asking me like why don't I give it up?
I give up alcohol then. Yeah, I think she
Uh,
was saying that in rebuttal to you telling, saying, yeah, she's talking to you.
okay, why don't I give up alcohol? Because I have learned that for me, it's all about self control. Now, this is just me. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
preaching to nobody. This is just me, in my opinion. I believe in self control. So obviously, if I knew that I was drinking to the point where I'm can't walk, I don't. I personally, I don't like the feeling of not being in control of myself.
Okay.
Like not being in control of me, you know. And a part of that was, hey, stop drinking so much, bruh. Like you don't like feeling vulnerable when you're drunk. You know,
Right.
you don't like the idea of not being able to control you. With that being done, I've had situations where I've drunk so much that, you know, ended up in a physical altercation. Luckily, it was with a man, not a woman. So, with that though, I didn't like that because my my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, was in the vicinity. Something could have happened to her, and I'm drunk out of my mind. I can't protect her or myself for that matter. I could have escalated the situation that didn't have to be escalated. So for me, I find comfort now in, you know what, I'm good on 2, 3 drinks and then I'm done. I cut myself off. Now, obviously, it took me time to get there, but now I prefer to, if I go out with my friends, these are good people too, because, I expressed this to them. I've been vulnerable to them about this. And, shockingly, one of my friends, he said the same thing for him. So, when we go out, well, about 2 drinks, 3 drinks. Now, when I'm at home, I can drink as much as I want. And, I'm in the comfort of my home. I don't plan on going nowhere. But it took a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work, dedication. It wasn't done overnight. Every now and then I'll be like, damn, I want more than 3. But I know that my limit is like 5, but I don't want to push that limit. So
Right.
I'll just stop at 3. But that's just me. I hope that answered your question, Vonda.
Okay. So Vonda, I just want you to just be aware that a lot of bad things could come, especially to a woman, when she is drunk. It's not safe for a lot of women. It's not safe for women in general in most places where people are drinking. It becomes more dangerous when you're in a situation where you're drunk and there's other people who's drinking, and it's just, to me, it's just a concerning is I'm just concerned for any woman who's not completely in control of what's going on with her in the world that we live in now. So I'm definitely not trying to preach to you, but I do want what's best for you. And if someone is drunk, you can't hold yourself accountable once you're drunk, because the first thing people say when someone tries to hold them accountable and they've been drinking, what's the first thing that people going to say? I was drunk.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the excuse, or that's the reason. Sometimes it's the reason, and sometimes it's the excuse. But it is always the get out of jail free card. Is I was drunk. I didn't know what I was doing. And if you can say I didn't know what I was doing, then that means you can do. Keyword there was you didn't know what keyword is doing. So you don't know when you're doing harm either. When you don't know what you were doing, you don't know the harm that you may be doing. So to me, if you're drinking to have a good time, have friend, you're casually drinking or whatever, you in the house, you relaxing, you with your wife, you with your friends or whatever, that's cool. But I think it's always dangerous when something starts to become a habit. And now instead of you controlling it, it's controlling you. Once something starts to control you, regardless if it's pain pills, weed, alcohol, cigarettes, even if it's legal for you to buy, once it starts to control you, it is now dangerous. It's dangerous. Even if it's legal, once it's able to control you, to me, in my eyes, now it has become dangerous because now you can't be without it. And no one starts off thinking, um, no one starts off thinking, oh, you know what? I'm going to leisurely start doing this. But in a year or two, guess what, y'all? I'm going to be an addict. Nobody starts off thinking that way. Everyone says, I'm the exception. That'll never be me. Everyone starts off that way until that addiction has its claws in you and they start to dig in. Then by the time you realize, oh my God, I'm in a situation, it might be too late to get out of it. So that's all I'm saying. Uh Tove, send me your number. We need to chat offline. Okay, no problem, Vonda. I'll definitely do that. But yeah, that I definitely feel like the exception. And that's dangerous, Vonda. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it with you. That's dangerous because everybody feels like they're the exception. And you already said that it's gotten out of control. You should show me some reasons to be sober. Um, do
I
you
can.
have children? I'm trying to remember, but do you have children, correct? If you have children, that's the reason right there. But if you have any, it doesn't necessarily only have to be children. If you have people who love you, then you need to be present, clear-minded. You need to be on point mentally and physically and emotionally. And alcohol can affect all three of those things, and it can help. It can hurt your health long term. It can affect you health wise long term. So I just hope that at least you're able to.
For me, Wanda, it's these two right here. My
There you
niece and
go.
my niece and my nephew, and then my wife, and then above all, my grandma. I am. I've learned that everything doesn't affect me. You know,
Right.
right away. It doesn't affect me until it hurts them or affects them, and I feel like you know, like I said, everything us as people do affects someone eventually.
Right. We all have
And
people that love us
exactly. And
and want what's best for us.
my wife, like I said, I'm gonna let you up. Look, and Tove knows my wife's cousin, whose name is Rich Hunter. Me and him have had our talks, and he's been like a big brother to me too. And me and my wife behind closed doors, we have gone at it because you know dumb mistakes that I've made. Um, and it's just like I said, it's just a hard road to walk down. My son isn't a fan of his mom drinking.
Absolutely. So there's your reason right there. That's your reason right there. There's a lot of, let me tell you, Vonda, Now I'm gonna be candid. Since you was candid with us, I'm gonna be candid with you. Growing up with a mother who was addicted, it did major damage to me. You don't want to damage your son. You don't want to damage your son like that. Trust me. It took years for me to unpack all of the trauma and things that I had to unpack to get to the happy place and the comfortable place that I'm at now with myself and with my mother, because now she's clean and sober, you know. But it took years. At 46 years old, I was still unpacking in my 30s, you know. So damage how? We have to be here. We have to do a whole nother show. We would have to do a whole nother show for me to explain to you how much damage your mother for a young boy, for a child in general, but for a young boy, because most of the time the boy is attached to the mom, and the girl. That's why they say mama's boy and daddy's little girl. Because as men and women, we're automatically attracted, not sexually, we're automatically attracted to the opposite sex. So me as a little boy, I was attracted. I needed the energy from my mother, and that because she has a feminine energy that I needed to learn that side. And then for a girl, she needs to understand that masculine side of her father. So the damage that seeing my mother my mother being addicted as a little boy, yeah, it did a lot of damage. It did damage in my romantic relationships. It did damage with my self-esteem. It created insecurities within myself. So yeah, it did a lot. It definitely did a lot. So yeah, I don't think that trust me, if your son doesn't like it, that is your reason right there to not continue, or at least to try to get it under control. I know it's not easy to just say, "Hey, why don't you just stop?" I know that's an unrealistic expectation, and I'm not going to be callous enough to say that, because I'm not going to be callous enough to say that because I know how strong and how difficult addiction can be. Watching it, you know, watching it from watching it up close the way I did. But it's definitely something that you need to try to get under control for your son's sake. All right, and I wish you no. All right, Vonda, thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all empathy. Absolutely,
Hey,
that's what the
anything to
WCIS
do?
is all about. We have open, real, honest conversations. We not here arguing, fussing, and fighting. We trying to figure out the we trying to see what the problem is so we can figure out what the solution is. So thank you so much for your openness, your honesty, your transparency, and we wish you nothing but happiness and blessings, and be able to get yourself under control so you can address the problem properly
Yes, ma'am. You have a
before
good night. Sleep
before
good.
something bad, something really bad could happen. I'm not wishing that upon you, but we all know when things get out of control, that's when usually when really bad things happen is when things get out of control. And that
Absolutely.
goes for anyone and everyone. When things get out of control, bad things start to happen. All right. So God bless you, Vonda. Thank you so much for tuning in. We stream every we stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 o'clock. So if you want to come back, you got a friend in us. All right. God bless. All right. So Jay,
Yo.
um, the next question I have is, you said you explained to us the last time you had to hold yourself and someone else accountable, and why people have such a hard time with accountability. So in your relationship, now we're going to talk about accountability within relationships, because
Okay.
we've been talking about accountability within our own person,
Hmm.
holding ourselves accountable and holding other people accountable. But it gets a little bit trickier when you start talking about relationships, because
Absolutely.
now it's a balance. Because now there's two people involved, and we have to hold each other accountable because we are trying to for the betterment of the relationship.
Got you.
Because there's for most people, there isn't as much of a timeline to better themselves as it is a timeline to make sure that this we get this relationship right. Because some
Okay.
people don't got all their life to be waiting for the relationship to get where it needs to be. You could be fixing yourself until you're 60, but most people not going to wait for
But
someone
hold
else
on.
to fix themselves until they 60. It's like, look, we've been together for 4 or 5 years, and we still dealing with these same problems. So,
Absolutely.
what do you feel is the best way to approach your partner when it comes to holding your romantic partner, your wife, your girlfriend, your lady, holding your partner accountable? What's the best way you feel like it is to go about approaching your partner to hold them accountable?
Woman, get you. No, I'm just playing.
You
uh,
better hear what I say, woman.
no. How did George Jefferson do it? No, I'm just playing. No. Honestly, man, I,
What's the
that's
best way, and how has it evolved throughout the years for you?
so. Man, I think. Well, okay. Let me answer the questions. Let me answer those the first questions
All right.
through a relationship.
Okay.
My problem where I had to hold myself accountable was not everything was required to need fixing.
Okay.
Okay. I used to always want to fix everything, the problem she had that had nothing to do with me. I always wanted to quote unquote fix. And that
Okay.
caused a lot of problems with me and her because there were times where she wasn't talking to me to fix the problem. She was just talking to me to vent.
Right. To hear her point of view and what she's going through.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, even though what I was doing was coming from a place of good,
Right. Because as
it,
men, we naturally want to fix things.
exactly.
That's just our
So
nature.
it took me a while to learn from her that not everything is meant to be fixed. It's just need to be listened to. So I would say it that's another part of me growing into the guy I am now because it took me years to realize what I was doing was causing a strain on the relationship. So
Okay.
how I was approaching the situation was I was just brutally blunt honest. You know? Like I want to be brutally blunt with you. I
Right.
need you to be brutally blunt with me. Now, the problem is the brutally part. You don't gotta be so
Right.
brutally honest. And that was my
Yeah.
fault.
Especially now with your lady.
Exactly. And I had to hold myself accountable because I'm sitting here like, no, this is how I feel. This, that. Stop beating around. Like I'm my body language is aggressive,
Right.
and that's not what she needed at that moment, you know.
Okay.
So I definitely do think that, if you're going to go to somebody about accountability, like you said before, you gotta go open heart, open mind, open ears.
Absolutely.
And it took me a while to learn that because I went in with a mindset of fixing it. That's not an open mind. An open mind is you don't gotta fix it. You're just there to listen. You
Right.
know. And so, to answer your question, I definitely would say when it comes to holding my wife accountable, I definitely go in with the okay. Look, this is what happened. You remember how this happened, and you said this, and that. I need you to know you were wrong. Um, it wasn't this, that, and that. It was this with that. It's
Right.
all about communicating properly, the proper way. And, you know, we have this thing now where, she like, I don't got to tell her she's wrong. She just knows when she's wrong. And
Right.
it takes a lot of it takes a lot of courage and a lot of like I who was it? It's a saying my grandma used to say: "You big and bad when you think you're right, but you're
Mm-hmm.
real small when you know you're wrong." You're real small. And it took me years to get that. You
Right.
know, just like because what was it? She used to tell me, "You the Hulk when you think you're right,
Mm-hmm.
but now
My
you
aunt
won't."
used to say, "You think you Joe Lewis?"
Yeah, but then now because then she's like, "But now you Ant Man when you're wrong.
Right.
You know, now you want to play hide and go seek. You know, you
Right.
wanted to be it when you thought you was right."
Right.
But and I feel like that has a lot to do with accountability because I'm pretty sure we've all seen it where the loudest person think they right, but
Right.
then
And then
when
they
they
disappear
wrong,
when they get proved wrong.
oh man! And so I believe in relationships, I would definitely say go in with an open mind and an open heart, communicate, and how to communicate again is sometimes the best communication is just listening.
Absolutely. Um, Me personally, I feel like in a relationship, if you want to hold your partner accountable, first of all, especially as a man, you have to role model that behavior.
Okay.
You have to role model the behavior so you have to feel comfortable saying, you know what, I was wrong. I acknowledge that I was wrong. I'm not hiding from the fact that I made a mistake and I'm willing to do what I need to correct it.
Okay.
Once you role model that behavior and you're holding yourself accountable, now it should be a natural progression for you to be able to hold your partner accountable. And especially with women, because sometimes it's not good to tell them that they're wrong. I think it's better to allow them to see it for themselves.
Okay.
So sometimes you have to take a step back and instead of attacking and saying, see, this is where you're wrong, you gotta kind of like, okay, instead of saying you were wrong, maybe you could finesse it a little bit and say, do you see how you could have handled that better? Because soon as someone says you're wrong, most people become defensive. Who are you to tell me I'm wrong? You can't judge me. Only God could judge me. No, that's not true. God can only judge you ultimately, but I can't judge your behavior and the things that you're doing right now here in front of me. And what you're doing
Absolutely.
is wrong. When someone feels the conviction to judge you and it's because they feel completely secure in them knowing what is right and what is wrong. If I know what right and wrong is, yes, I can judge. I may not be able to judge you, but I can judge your behavior. I can judge what you're doing. And I think it's wiser to let a person sometimes see where they need to be held accountable. Sometimes you may have to go back and recollect and say, hey, it's been a couple of situations where you've told me you keep getting the same outcome.
Absolutely.
Have you thought about maybe instead of the everything around you or everyone around you is the problem, maybe you're the common denominator? Have you taken time to even think about it? No. Well, maybe you should. Maybe the solution and the resolution of what's troubling you, maybe it lies there. I'm not saying whether you are the common denominator, but if you haven't even taken time to even think that you could be,
Mm-hmm.
but you've had the same situation happen 6 times, I think that that's dangerous for you because now it's kind of like you're dealing with situations obliviously. You're blind to your own actions and what you contribute to the relationship or to the relationships. So I agree with you. You definitely have to go in with gloves and be gentle. You can't you can't hit a woman too hard, not not literally, y'all, not literally.
You got to be specific on that
I
part.
gotta be specific. You can't hit a woman too hard with the truth. Sometimes you gotta massage it onto her, massage it into her so she can see it. And then once she's able to see it, I think then she'll start to realize that it's not about, babe, I'm trying to prove you wrong and show you that I'm right and I'm the big macho man and you the little docile subservient woman. No, it's not about
Mm.
me proving you right or wrong. It's about we have to hold each other accountable so we can be our best versions of ourselves for each other.
Okay.
And if anybody can check you, if it ain't your mama or your father, it should be your lady. That's point blank period. Your mother and your father are supposed to be able to check you at any point because they've been checking you. They should have been checking you and checking on you
Yeah,
throughout
long time
throughout your
ago.
whole life. And that's the one person I would hope that we would take their advice and say, you know what, mama or grandma, I feel you. Granddad, grandpa, dad, I feel you. You got a point there, and I'm gonna get that under control. The next person that you should not have any problem with checking you and pulling you to the side is your partner.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like your woman or your man is talking down to you, then that's when communication comes in. Babe, I'm willing to hear what you have to say, but you gotta communicate it to me a little bit better. Because I'm not gonna get your point. I'm not gonna really you making me eat too fast, I'm not gonna enjoy the food. you know? I want to be able to enjoy my food. My aunt always just say, Toby, stop eating so fast. Take time and chew your food. Enjoy your food. You
Got
can get
you.
back out there and play in a little while. Enjoy your food. Sit down and eat. You
Yeah.
know, and
Sometimes, man, look, I used to hate those. Like
you
especially when
know.
freeze tag was getting good.
So I just want to, and this was part one of the conversation. I definitely want to get into, you know, me and Jay Clay got into the conversation tonight. Hopefully on Thursday we can get some ladies on the show so we can hear a
Yes,
perspective from both sides. So this was
absolutely.
definitely part two. I mean, part one of accountability. We're going to get into part two on Thursday. And that way we'll be able to hear different points of views and different, it's always wonderful and it's always great to hear a woman's perspective,
Absolutely.
you know.
I have a
So,
question
all
for
right, what's going on,
for
Jay Clay?
for for Thursday. Just
All right. All right, we're gonna hold on to this question. I ain't gonna answer. We're gonna hold on to it, carry it over to Thursday.
when do we start fixing the accountability?
When do we start fixing? Once we realize what we need to hold each other accountable for, when do we start
And
fixing it?
how do we
How?
start?
How and when do we start fixing it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Y'all heard that. Let me hold on. Wait a minute. Let me drop a. I'm going. Jay Clay just dropped a bomb on us. The bomb is still falling out the sky. It ain't gonna hit till Thursday. All right. So everybody, Vonda, thank you so much. I know you probably don't went to sleep, but if you go back and watch this, I want to say thank you. Really, really thank you for being
Open
joining
and
us
honest.
and being open and honest. This is not a place where we're about judgment. This is not to look down upon you. We want what's best for you. If you came to this stream, OPP is only promote positivity. So if any kind of way you get any positive energy from these streams and it makes you feel a little bit better, gives you a little bit courage to step in the right direction, hopefully you will be able to take that energy and do what's right with it and understand that even though we don't know you personally, we care for you personally, because you're still our sister to everybody else, to all the gentlemen, you're our brothers. If there's a lot of people dealing with addiction and different types of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Mm,
We'll get into that.
I got a topic for you next week.
All right. Hold on. He about to drop another bomb on us, y'all.
No,
Hold on.
don't build me up because it might not be the bomb.
All right.
How do we stop the narrative of men versus women and women
Ooh,
versus men? How do we stop that narrative?
Jay Clay.
How do we stop
Oh,
this
how do
narrative?
we stop the narrative? All right, y'all. Now that is a bomb. You just that's a couple of bombs right there. Listen. So next week, y'all already know what we're talking. We're gonna finish accountability this Thursday, but next week, Tuesday, we're gonna get into what Jay Clay said. All right, we're gonna get into how do we stop this narrative of men versus women.
And does it start
That is
with
going.
uh, does it start with accountability?
It definitely starts with accountability. So it actually all links together.
Yep.
All right, it all links together. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend and enjoyed their Mother's Day weekend. I hope you were celebrated, appreciated, and cherished the way you should be. And you'll all mothers, the good ones, and even the ones that are not as good as they should be. Everyone deserves to be loved, and everyone deserves a second chance. So if you what up, my main man? Diamonds are forever, and so is Rich Hunter. Oh, woo! What up, Rich? Everyone deserves a second chance, and everyone deserves an opportunity to be with their children. Whether the adults can get along, don't deprive anyone of their parents, mothers or fathers. All right. So let's go ahead and hit the outro. My man Jay Clay gave us a whole lot of content for next week. And we're gonna continue with accountability on Thursday. All right. So make sure everybody tune in on Thursday for part 2. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Toad, representing the WCIS. We can't inspire someone. OPP, only promote positivity. Shout out to Waterbed Hev. Shout out to Uncle Deep V. And shout out to my man. His mama named him Clay. I'ma call him Clay. And thank you for joining the community that is all about a unity. It's your boy, Little Fat Mushy Toad. I want y'all to stay blessed, stay beautiful, but most importantly, stay positive. And until Thursday, peace out, everybody.
Y'all be
Later,
good.
Jay Clay. God bless, bro.
Bless you, baby.
All right.